seems to be happening right now.
Right.
So, and this is like a sociology 101 question, but if someone said to you, "Is the NAACP still relevant today, and why?"
Yeah.
What would you say?
Yeah, we would tell them to look around the nation today, and we would tell them to not only look around the nation today, but look in the past, and what we have to look forward to in the future. We're extremely relevant. It would be great if the struggle wouldn't continue, but it absolutely does. So we have to be available.
You know, with the recent killings, and I've said of young black men, and
Right.
I've said on this show before that we are all horrified by that, but we just need to make sure that we all understand exactly what
That's right.
happened. But you have to admit that that stuff does seem to be happening so often now. Also, there have been a number of killings of young white men by policemen as well recently. So with those things happening, with the gang violence, are you feeling like the organization's not quite able to get ahead of these issues?
Yeah, and we may not ever be able to get ahead of those issues. First of all, we need to focus on the things that are in our control. And what's in our control is our community. You know, Toledo chapter NAACP is focused on the Toledo community. And there is a broader picture, and there are things happening around the United States and in this country, but the things that we really have to focus on is the violence in our community, the gangs, the issues that we have that we collectively can come together and make an impact for our citizens in Toledo.
Is the NAACP different now than it used to be, or in terms of mission and focus?
No, our mission and our focus is the same, and the Toledo chapter NAACP's focus is to ensure the political, educational, social, and economic equality of rights of all citizens. That's what we focus on here, and that's the national focus as well, and to ensure a society that is free of racial hatred and discrimination and equal for all. So, and we have not accomplished that, and we still have to make that one of our priorities. But it's still we're still relevant, and we still have those issues in Donnie that they're not going to go away.
So, the NAACP, and I want to. You mentioned earlier gang violence and violence in neighborhoods. And I do want to talk about that for a second, but before I get there, I want to talk briefly about Ted Nugent. Can we do that?
Yes.
Okay. So Ted Nugent came into town. He was here. This was probably his fourth or fifth time here in town. Lot of response from organizations like the NAACP, none of it good. You guys were not real happy to see him come. Wasn't he, at the end of the day, just expressing his own views? And doesn't he have a right to do that?
Yes, he was, and yes, he does. Part of our objectives is to educate and inform the public on, how things can adverse affect our community. And it never, ever was an issue of a First Amendment right, freedom of speech. Never, ever.
Thank you for that clarification.
Yeah, what we focused on, and you're right, he was here for 3 consecutive years. He was here for the rib-off 2 years ago, and then last year he came to the Huntington Center, and this year he was invited back again. All of those things were on the other side of the dialogue for change. The racism, the forum on racism that we started last September, and so all those appearances was on that side. Well, what's happened since then is that we as a community said we were going to change minds, change lives. We were going to have speakers from around the country come in and give us some ideas and on how we should collectively come together.
Those forums that you speak about are the ones that were sponsored by the Blade and the Toledo Coalition.
Community Coalition.
Community Coalition,
yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I attended each and every one of them. And I was in the audience, and I saw how people received that. There was a great diversity of people that were there. And you saw a lot of noses going up and down, a lot of engagement, a lot of involvement, because we need to know how other people, how other groups think. And Did it change a lot of lives? Did it change a lot of minds? I would say that it's a
changing.
continuing process, because all improvement continues. The biggest room in the world is room for improvement. And so I really believe that those meetings and those forums really had a great impact. So Ted Nugent comes now, he's on, and plus we're a compassionate city. You know, we're a compassionate community.
Right.
So now he comes with that type of rhetoric and that type of conversation. And it never was, like I said, it wasn't about Ted, because he came and said what he said and did what he did, and then he moved on. But the aftermath is all of us trying to pick up the pieces and still try to stay united.
Okay, so it wasn't really about Ted Nugent.
No,
What was it really about, in a sentence?
yeah, it was about how we as a community, Toledo community, is going to move forward as it relates to race relations, as it relates to type of dialogue that we need to be engaged in with each other. And you know, people are accountable for what they say. We're even going back to Don Sterling with the Los Angeles Clippers, or Al Capanis with the Los Angeles Dodgers, or Marge Schott with the Cincinnati Reds, or Jimmy the Greek. He worked for CBS TV, and Paula Deen. You know, the reality is that, you know, people are accountable for what they say. They have the right, the opportunity to say whatever they want to. But then again, we as a community shouldn't be supporting that, because it would appear to be hypocritical if we're trying to engage each other in this community and still allowing that type of
Yeah. So what I hear you saying then is it.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's really about the community being consistent, or the folks who choose to engage in the conversation against racism.
That's right. That's
being
right.
consistent in that position.
Absolutely.
So that was really
right.
That's really, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, and we want and listen, we've got a great community here. I was born, raised, went to school here. You know, went to college here, and I think that what we can control is what is in our community. And we need to be kind to each other. We pass out cards at those forums and say, be kind to someone of a different race. And that's our reality. Our reality is that, you know, just try to put the things behind us that's going to divide us, and try to gravitate to those things that will unite us.
So why do you think this stuff just doesn't go away?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't think it's going to go away, because that's the effect of who we are as a human race. You know, it just didn't start the last 100 years. It's been going on from the beginning. Who we are as people. Unfortunately, there's love and there's hate and there's joy and there's pain, and there's for every positive, there appears to be a negative. And I think that as long as we continue to fight, as long as we continue to stand up for those injustices or the things that are not positive, we have a chance.
You know, so much of, and I like that, we have a chance
Right.
stuff, because I think you're absolutely right. It's frustrating, because so much of this conversation is really based on what people think they know,
That's right.
as
That's
opposed
correct.
to what they really know. You know, it doesn't help, though, when we have communities of young black men killing each other.
I agree.
Any NAA doing NAACP? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Any focus on that?
Absolutely, and that's one reason to move beyond Ted Nugent. That's one reason why Toledo chapter NAACP, we wanted to educate, we wanted to inform, we wanted to let people really understand that type of rhetoric, that type of mean-spirited, you know, hateful conversation. And then at the exact same time, we wanted to not protest, demonstrate, rally, put a whole lot of emphasis on, you know, showing up at a rally, because we have many more serious things that we need to focus on. Like you just said, the gang violence, the black-on-black crime, jobs, education, housing. You know, those are things in our community that we can put our attention to. And this community will be much better served doing that.
Focusing on those things.
Yeah.
It is tough, though. I do get it. I do understand why people have the perception that the African American community is not a safe place to be. Newspapers are filled with articles about, you know, young boys killing young boys and gang members. You know, the recent one, the recent series of articles that the Blade did on gangs was, you know, highly controversial, but it did start an awful lot of conversation. Doesn't our community have some obligation to?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely, and not just the NAACP. We should maybe lead the charge, and that should be our focus, or one of our focus. But we need to engage this entire community. I mean, we could do a lot more together. You know, the faith-based community, different organizations, other civil rights groups that are out there. We need to all collectively come together and realize that this is detrimental to our families.
It is. But you know, I want to say this to you folks out there as well. No matter what you, no matter how we explain this, Mr. Wood, the fact of the matter is that issues like poverty and crime and black on black crime are so complicated, and they are far more about, you know, the roots of how the society treats one another than those issues are about some genetic predisposition, as I keep hearing discussed when we talk about these issues. But I do want to talk to you a little bit more about this issue when we return. So would you stay with me?
Sure.
All right, don't leave me now. I'll be right back. We are.